Hello, my party people. It is time once again, Wednesday at 2 p.m. It is time for My CP Does Not Define Me, episode 13. Lucky 13 on Wednesday, not Friday. Hope everybody is having a wonderful evening, afternoon, day on this Wednesday. I'll tell you what, we are in the beginning of July. I gotta tell you, it's one of those things where it's the 8th already. How in the world are we on the 8th already? This month is just flying by. Would like to welcome everybody in. Let's invite some folks to get everybody in here. It'll take me just a second to go through that. Hope everybody is having a phenomenal day. I gotta say, it's been hot, a little bit rainy, but you know what? I can't complain, because if I complained, I would not get anywhere. So we're going to invite just a couple more as I go down the little invite screen here. All right, we got some folks invited. Hey, Josh, how's it going, brother? Thank you for joining me. So today, I wanted to do a little bit different show. I've gotten a lot of emails and a lot of requests about, how did you come up with My CP Does Not Define Me, and why the title? Because apparently there is some confusion on why I came up with the show, because some people are asking me, am I ashamed of my cerebral palsy? Is it not part of me? There was a comment by a young man a couple of weeks ago on a show that we did. I believe it was the week before last, when I had Jamie as a guest, but I cannot remember, and I have tried to find his comment, but I could not. And the one thing that he said was, that his CP is part of him, and it helps make him who he is, which I understand that completely. Hey, Nikki, how you doing? I want to go through just a couple of things as to why. And I want to kind of break into this a little bit, because he has a great point. When I say, and when I do the show, My CP Does Not Define Me, what I mean by that, and what I come through with that, and the message that I'm trying to come through with, is that nothing will stop me because I have CP. I have accepted my CP full throttle. That is not an issue. Now, there is a little bit of a backstory behind that, because it took me a while to understand that I was okay with CP. From the time I was about 5 or 6 until I was about 13 or 14, I wanted to be different. I wanted to be so-called normal. Now, the normalcy of this, and the normal part of this, was I wanted to walk. I wanted to play football. I wanted to be like everybody else. I wanted to be the person that was not having the disability, because I felt like I was an outcast. I got to be honest. Hey, Raina, thank you for checking in with us. I appreciate it. It's one of those things that, when I look at this and I say, okay, I understand now what CP has made me into. Now, there's also a two-parter to that, so let me go back. When I saw myself as different with CP, this world has to stop assuming. I said, so many times, that CP doesn't make you different. CP makes you unique. Everybody's case is different. Each case has its own case of individuality. Each case has its own, something to bring forth to the world. Now, it is hard, and it takes time sometimes to come to acceptance with CP, because people have to realize who and what they are. And when I say that, I mean what they're going to be, okay? And CP is going to be part of it unless God decides to change it. That's just the open piece of it, to say what it is, where we go, that kind of thing. You look at it as CP is a part of your life until it changes. And the only way it's going to change is a miracle, okay? So I was told a long time ago, I was sat down and I had a talk with family and I had a talk with a couple of friends, and they said this. They said, stop worrying about what you can't do and start worrying about what you can do. Because if you focus on what you can't, you're going to miss the opportunities that pass you by because you're so focused on what you can't do. So the amazing part is, I had been doing, 43 episodes of the Sports Minion Radio Show with CP attached to it. But I wanted to reach out to the world because I have CP. There's no getting around it. I have something that is not going to change unless it happens by miracle, and I'm okay with that. It needs to be, people need to realize that CP is not a burden. CP is not troublesome. CP does not come across as something, that where people need to be afraid of it. We as a people have to understand that we are not different, okay? So when I came up with this show, I was doing the Sports Minion Radio Show, and I enjoyed doing sports, but I felt like something was missing. I felt like I wasn't reaching I wasn't doing what I needed to do to its full potential. So when I talked to Miss Winnie, as great as she is and as wonderful as she is, she understood immediately, and she said, well, why don't you go with My CP Does Not Define Me and take it an hour show and do the sports later. Now, I love sports. I've been into sports my whole life, and I've been in broadcasting my whole life, which I've talked about. But when I started doing the show, I instantly felt a connection with the title, My CP Does Not Define Me, because I don't want someone's disability to be the forefront of their lives as into how they're seen. Now, I don't know. Thank you for that, Miss Winnie, by the way. Always keeping me on point. I know you're there. I don't want it to be the forefront of who they are. I want them to be shown in a light that they can overcome the obstacles, whether they have a disability or not. Now the drawback behind that is you're going to see the disability. You may see arm tightness. You may see leg tightness. You may see drooling. You may see trouble swallowing. You may see communication boards. You may see all those things. But until you go up, until you speak to the person, until you actually interact with the person, you're not going to know who and what they are because you haven't interacted with them. So that interaction, the My CP Does Not Define Me, is exactly what it says. See, I am not afraid of my CP anymore. I am not afraid to be who I am because I have it. But it does not make me who I am in its entirety. It is part of me, but I don't rely on it. And that's kind of where I'm coming from with the whole CP thing. So going through this, you see all of these people in the world, millions of people are affected by CP every day. But what are they doing? Some feel rejected. Some feel like an outcast because they're seen by people of the world who are supposed normal as different. But the newsflash is, and where we're going with this, and where I'm going with this today is, there is no normal. There is no different. Because when you look at a person from head to toe, you got heart, soul, and mind, and that's all you've got to deal with. And in a sense, when you look at that, you see the person and you say, okay, he likes the color blue. She likes to smell flowers. She likes to go on walks. Now, how she goes on the walk, whether it's with crutches, whether it's with a walker, whether it's with a manual chair or a power chair, the bottom line is she gets it done. He gets it done. Now here's where we get kind of iffy. And I think as a society, we have to realize, And we've got to stop doing this as a society to say, look, it is not about what you see that is scary. Because I have learned that people are afraid of what they don't understand. And the only way to conquer your fear, and the only way to truly conquer what it is that you're afraid of, is to confront it. But you don't have to confront CP with somebody in a way that makes it to where they feel 2 inches tall. Because you're not really accomplishing anything when they feel 2 inches tall. The problem is, because you're afraid of something and because you don't understand it, or maybe you want to learn about it. I got asked yesterday, my buddy that was working on my chair, came from New Motion. They were working on my chair, and he said, DJ, I'm going to ask you a question, and I don't know what CP is. Can you explain it to me? It's as simple as that. He asked me, he said, what is CP? I just don't know. And I told him, I said, CP is a birth defect that affects the brain because it's a lack of oxygen to the brain for a specific amount of time, ranging from 2 minutes or longer. Okay, it is from birth. You can't catch it. It's not genetic. You can't find it. You can't get it. It's a birth defect. It is straight from birth. It can affect speech. It can affect swallowing. It can affect legs, arms, fine motor skills, jumping, talking, everything around the corner. It can affect. Sorry, my voice cracked on camera there. Hope the didn't go too bad. But I looked, once I answered the question, he said, I had no idea that it could affect so much. He said, so you're one of the lucky ones. And to be honest, yes, I am lucky. There are people that have cases of spastic dysplasia and other types of CP much worse than I do. Yes, I'm in a chair, 12 to 15 hours a day. And yes, it's hard, but I am lucky because I have been blessed with the ability to communicate strongly and to get my message across. And some people don't have that option. So understand, when I say my CP does not define me, yes, it is part of me, and I understand that. This title is more than a show to me. This is a lifelong journey that I want people to see, that when you have CP and you're trying to get a job, if you've got the skills to do that job and you went to school for it and you've studied for it, you deserve to get that job. If you want to get into school and learn something, you deserve to get in that school and learn something. We as disabled people have rights, and those rights need to be enforced. Those rights need to be enforced as individuals, because people seem to think that the moment they see the disability, the conversation's over. People seem to think, or some people seem to think, that once they see a person in a chair, once they see a person or an individual that looks different than they do, that it's over. And the fact of the matter is, folks, it's just begun, but here's the problem. You've got to be able to break the ice with these people and see them as people and not objects that are different. I look at the world around me, and a lot of people are so perplexed by cerebral palsy, and they'll just sit there and stare. The other people with CP can see you doing this, and it's not as simple. It is so simple to bridge the gap. The other day, Miss Winnie and she actually came to visit, and I was happy because I was getting to the point where I was bored. This COVID mess, Rona, I'm sitting in the house and not able to go, as many places as I'd like to go. And I got a message on my phone, and it was Miss Winnie. She said, come outside. I said, Lord, Miss Winnie done came by to visit. And we sat and talked about 20 minutes, about 25 minutes, just about life. And I realized something in Miss Winnie's strength. And I've said this so many times, she cares about people and she cares about who they are and what they are. And to see that and to understand that and to realize that, and I've talked about, the village, and I've talked about having someone in your corner, but just to talk about life. Sometimes life gets hard. CP or not, life is tough sometimes. And with this daggone, the mess that's going around, it's harder. Because some of us are feeling trapped. Some of us are feeling depressed. Some of us are feeling like we can't accomplish what we want to accomplish. But we need to remember that communication coming from telephone or letter or, anything like that. You can come behind me, sweetheart. That way they can see you. My wife is actually with me. She just decided to come on camera. There's Emily right there. So I've been begging her to try to come on the show with me. Now, for those of you, you gotta turn this way so they can see you. So for those of you who don't know, Emily is my wife. We've been married for 4 years, and she has spina bifida. Now, I'm going to bring it over just a little bit more so you don't have to turn. There we go. So I want to explain something. This is part of my support system. Emily is very shy. She doesn't like being on camera. She just don't like it. She'll be on for a minute and then she'll duck out like she's like she's trying to do right now. Don't duck out of camera. But I talked to her and I said, look, the people need to know who you are and what you are to me. I've said before that Emily is my rock, and when I say that, I mean it. It's. You want to get the chair?
I'm good.
Okay. It's the type of thing that when you have someone in your corner, whether it be Miss Winnie or whether it be Emily or a stepmom or a mother-in-law, someone to back you up, that makes life a little bit easier. Now, some of the questions that I get with CP is, how do you help each other? Because Emily has spina bifida and I have cerebral palsy. I have spastic dysplasia. My spastic dysplasia affects my legs, my arms, and my fine motor skills.
Sorry for the squeaks.
That's all right. You got to get in there where you... There we go.
Okay.
Woo, she's comfortable now. She's okay. So we're looking at this in a way. I have to have help with my lower half. I have trouble getting my socks and shoes on. I have trouble with my right side, so she'll help me with my right pants leg. I can do it all myself, okay? I can do it all myself except for my socks and shoes. I've always had trouble. Yes, my better half, Josh, that is correct. I've always had trouble with my lower extremities, and Emily realized that when we were dating, okay? She actually started helping me when we were dating. Look up here. We were in the process of learning about each other. Hey, Michael, how you doing, brother? Thank you for coming. Appreciate it. I look at it as Emily is my godsend. Emily is, and where Emily helps me most is talking to me and listening to me. She is probably the best listener in the world. When I'm struggling with something, I can bounce it off Emily, and Emily will go, okay, well, try this. Try going this way. Try, and she'll throw out different things. Hey, Liz, how are you? Thank you for watching. Thank you for coming. And I look at it as, again, my CP doesn't define me, but I have the support system or the village that Miss Winnie so often talks about in life. Now, here's the thing. I got asked the question, how do you help Emily? And I went, oh, man, I don't help her with much physical stuff. So I didn't have to think hard on the answer, but I had to change the answer a little bit because I help with the budget. I help with numbers. I help with bills. I help with
my memory.
Her memory. I mean, there's a lot of things. we make we have a folder for her to help with different things that need to be done, such as laundry, such as different
Chores.
things, chores that need to be done, so she can go through and checklist. I am so glad you're doing better, Liz. That's awesome, awesome, awesome. So glad to see you, and thank you for joining the show. We are definitely praying for you. I've seen updates and everything from your surgery, so please keep us updated. But as far we help each other a lot. Emily will do some cooking in the morning. I do most of the cooking in the evening. Sometimes she will go get lunch. Sometimes I will go get lunch. So it's one of those things where it's a 50-50 thing. And I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to say it. Being alone with CP is hard. And people have said being alone is hard, because when you don't have anybody to turn to, when you don't have anybody to bounce things off of, it makes life difficult. Now, it doesn't mean that life can't be done, okay? Everybody has to have a routine or a way that they do things, or something of that nature in between the rigmarole of work and chores. We try to have fun. We try to watch TV together. And Emily loves to do art. She likes to do the diamond paintings and things like that. There has to be, we were talking about.
Hi, Nikki.
I saw the message earlier, Nikki. I'll get to it. She does the diamond painting. She does art. She reads books. We talked about it last night. We were laying in bed, and I asked her. I said, it's okay that we do different things. And she said, yeah, I totally was going to say that. You took the words right out of my mouth. Everybody has their own things that they like to do, and that's okay. When you're a couple, and you have been married for a while, everything doesn't have to be the same. You don't have to do everything together. Now, I will say this. I like to eat together. I like to watch TV together. I find myself wanting to be in the same room as Emily, and I'll be honest, I don't like being alone, and that's something that I've had to cope with. I can be alone. I'm a people person. I like to be around people, and in ways, my CP has helped me to understand that it's okay to be the way you are. Because to fully accept your CP, you truly have to understand yourself. You can't love anybody else until you love yourself first. Now, I know you guys have heard that. But to truly understand it, you've got to be okay with who you are. I don't want to discourage anybody from watching this show. I don't want to discourage anybody from coming in and saying, listen, I have this disability, you have this disability, we're different. We're not. We're in the same boat, because having a disability makes life tough. But that disability can't stop you from doing what it is that you want to do. Okay, you have to realize that your disability does not define you, and it may help to make you who you are, but you have individual traits outside of your disability. You cannot rely on your disability to get something done. Now, there are people out there that use it to a T. I'm disabled, do this for me. I'm disabled, get this for me. I need this, I'm disabled. I don't like that. I don't like it. Now, that's just me, okay? Some people use their disability to a T, and they have been doing it their whole lives, and they've got people waiting on them hand and foot, and that's the way they are. I'm not going to judge you. I'm going to say I'm not going to be that way, okay? I was taught to be as independent as I can, and I was taught to do the things that I need to do on my own and try my best to do it first, and then if you need help, ask for it. For me, now I don't know about Emily, but I know for me, I hate asking for help. I hate it. I had to learn how to do it because I wanted to do everything by myself? Were you the same way? You want to do everything by yourself?
I would like to, obviously, because usually that's preferable, but like with the memory things, I definitely wish I could do it myself, but I just can't, so you just kind of have to adapt.
But did you come to grips with, hey, look, my memory is what it is.
Yeah.
I need help with what I need help with. But see, it took time. She didn't just wake up one day and say, okay, I'm done with it. She had to realize, look, I've got to have help with this. And it's okay to have help. I think that the first thing about help, and I said at the beginning of the show, the assumption is a powerful thing. The assumption itself, to assume that you know what is wrong with someone or you know everything about their disability. Oh, my daughter has that. Okay, great. Your daughter has the same disability as me. Oh no, she has this. She is, each disability, even of the same case, is different. Not a lot of people know. I do a power dive in bed, and Emily will grab my legs and hold them up so I can slide into bed every night. She does it every night. Now, some nights I can jump far enough where she doesn't need to, and I can get right in there and rest her back a little bit. I try to be very, very conscientious of my wife's back. My wife has the back of a 70-year-old. It's with the spina bifida that she has and degenerative disc disease where her disc deteriorate in between her spine. It's tough. Everything. There are days where she's in bed most of the day because she hurts. Okay? Sometimes we have to make each other move. We have to make each other do things. We have to make each other do things and go through to push through life. And sometimes you've got to do that. Okay? But there has to be give and take of where we help each other. And there are some nights there are some mornings we'll get up and like, I don't want to move. I'm so comfortable. Can we just stay in bed just a little bit longer? I have to make myself get up. And I'll say to Emily, what do you want to eat? She'll say, I don't know. What do you want to eat? I say, I don't know. What do you want to eat? And we go back and forth. Do you want pizza? No, I don't want pizza. I don't know. You pick. You want waffles? I mean, waffles are Emily's go-to. I could serve Emily.
Waffles are good.
Waffles. Waffles are Emily's go-to. She can eat waffles 24/7. My go-to, probably burgers and steak and cheese subs and Subway. I could eat that.
I don't eat them that.
Man, I tell you what. Every time we order out, what do you want, Emily? A burger? What do you want, Emily? A burger? Every time. But so I try to mix it up a little bit. I cook steak and I cook pork chops and I do all this stuff. And in doing that, Emily wants to learn to cook the way I do, so I try to teach her and show her things when she wants to learn. Now, there are times where Emily will say, look, don't mess with me. I just want to be alone. Sometimes couples don't want to be around each other all the time, and that's okay. But sometimes you need it. Sometimes you need that affection. Sometimes you just got to pick up your arm and throw it around there and hug somebody. It's okay. Guys, I honestly don't know if I'm going to use the full hour today because I wanted to state this, and I wanted to go through life, but the message that I want you guys to realize is CP is okay. CP doesn't make you different. We're not different. We're the same. Thank you, Mama Aid. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
We've been trying to get her on here. I've been trying, and she said I'll get on, and then she said I'm too shy. So look, I understand that you go through life and it's hard. Okay, life sucks sometimes. Life is to the point where you're like, I don't want to do this. But your CP should not define you. Okay? You're going to have it. The disabilities that you have, they are going to be part of your life until it is changed. And having the faith that it's going to be changed, that's great. But accepting who you are and accepting what you have is great also, because then you realize you're not afraid of who you are and what you are. I don't want to go through life all the time saying, man, I wish I could be different. I wish I could be this. I wish I could be this. If you wish in one hand and you spit in the other, see which one fills up first.
You can also not think about the things that make you different about your disability, but the things that make you unique.
Well, and at the beginning of the show,
think of it that way.
Yeah, I said each disability makes us unique, because the people that have disabilities and the people that go through things with disabilities can do everything that we can do. They just have to find a different way of doing them sometimes. And doing things, look, if the world was the same, we would all be robotic. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to be a robot. I would for a little bit. It'd be kind of cool.
Beep boop.
You know, beep boop, beep boop. I am DJ Tron. I am going to go to the kitchen. You know, great. I could see that happening, for a nanosecond. But everybody talking about it, everybody doing things the exact same way, everybody doing everything exactly the same, that takes away the uniqueness and individuality of people. And what's so hard about it is so many people on the outside looking in see the disability and not the person because of the look. And the label comes as, oh, this person has this. This person has Asperger's. This person has spina bifida. This person has CP. This person has Down syndrome. And it becomes labeled to where that is that person. Okay, remember, the disability is what they are affected by, not what consumes them and makes them who they are. It may help. It may help and bring it to a point. But understand, the disability is part of the person, not the whole part. So seeing somebody that is around you with a disability and they're isolated, ask them, are you up for talking? And I love that, Miss Karen. I do, because if people can get past the label, if people can get past the point of no return, to where this label is I am not CP DJ, I am not CP Carter, I am not cerebral palsy man, cerebral palsy man, the man that can't walk and can't do anything. No, I'm DJ, and that's what I go by. I don't want to be labeled because of my disability. I don't want to be labeled as, oh, he has cerebral palsy, so he has a disability. Okay, big deal. Big deal. I don't give two flaps about the disability that I have. I understand it, and I understand where it's coming from. There's always a way of doing something. You just have to find it. That's true. If you want something done bad enough, the only way is to get it done. And people spend most of their lives, there are a lot of people with disabilities that complain. Look, the only thing complaining does, folks, is waste energy. The only thing complaining does in this world is bring you down. Because complaining accomplishes nothing. Nothing at all. When you complain and when you run your mouth about how hard your life is, and woe is you, and nobody understands, and nobody sees me, and nobody gets it, and I ain't gonna find my way through the world. Look, you can do that for a while, but you can't stay there. You got to get to the point where you realize, okay, I've complained, I've cried, I've snotted a little bit, I've had my woe is me moment, now I got to move on. I got to figure out how to solve the problem. I got to figure out what to do to get it done. Now, some of the people have asked me, how do I come up with the phrases that I come up with? If you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. What that basically means to me is do everything with the intent and give everything you've got 100%. I'm a type of person, and Emily has heard this so many times she could probably smack me in the side of the head to hear it. Don't smack me on the side of the head on camera. I'm just letting you know. You can smack me if you want to. I don't mind. I always say that I'm 100%. Everything that I do is 100%. Everything that I say, I try to do. I am the type of person that gives my all. And I can talk a lot, but I want what I say to have substance to the people listening. Everything that I try to do, everything that I try to say, I want to reach people in a positive manner to help them to realize that, look, some of us are in the same boat. Everybody has problems. Everybody. There's no perfect being anywhere. There's no perfect being anywhere. If the only perfect being that we got is up here that I rely on. I don't know about y'all. I don't know what works for y'all, but I'm telling you, God is the only perfect being for me. So now, here's where I get kind of confused. If people can start accepting who they are, and if people can start realizing who they are, and realizing that the way they are is okay, I think the world is gonna go along a lot smoother, because it's all right to be the way they are, to be the way you are. If you don't like something about yourself in the physical sense, if you want to lose weight, do it. Work out. Commit to it. If you want to, build muscle in your legs, do it. Commit to it every day. You have got, when you make a commitment to something, you have got to stand through that commitment. You've got to go through that commitment 100%. Now, I'm going to say this. People will ask me, do you ever feel, left out? Do you ever see things that you still want to do that you can't do? Look, I'm going to be real with you guys on something. There's always going to be something that I'm not able to do. I've accepted that. I'm going to try to find the best way possible to see if I can do it, but there's going to be some things, somewhere that I can't do, and that's okay. That's not but I'm not going to have that mindset immediately to say I can't do it. I'm going to try first, and I'm going to do my absolute best to go through life and say, look, I want to do this the best way I can, and I'm going to say, Emily, I've tried this. Miss Wilson, I've tried this. I'm going to talk to the people that I talk with. We have a CP group that we chat with every Wednesday and every Friday. And I'm going to tell you right now, our CP group is family. Our CP group that we chat with, Talia and Kyle and Christina and Shamika and Lauren and myself and Miss Winnie, we are a tight-knit group because we rely on each other for feedback. When we're struggling with something, we talk about it. We do it every week. Every week. It is a consistent thing. Consistency in this time of COVID-19 and craziness that we've got going on, consistency is important. I cannot stress enough that, guys, use your cell phone to call somebody. Talk to somebody. If you're struggling with something and you feel isolated, you feel alone, you feel stressed out, you feel this, that, and the other, disability or not, pick up a phone and call somebody, because I'm going to tell you now, if you reach out to somebody and you realize, hey, I got to find somebody to talk to, you're realizing that's the other kind of help I'm talking about. We, in this time right now where we can't go anywhere and things are starting to open back up and everybody wants to do everything, you got to be careful. You can't just jump in with both feet, because this mess is not over and it's going to be around for a while. So it's like, you try to figure out what you want to do and you try to find the best way to do it. So I can say this. I'm not the type of person that gives up easy. Okay? Understand that I want to bring the people in my life that are going to give me positive reinforcement. Now, this is important. I didn't think I was going to use the whole hour, but I might as well.
Hi, Karen.
And that's the same.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's the same Mama Ade. She's that's Jamie's mom.
It popped up.
Yeah, that's all right. I do not deal with negative people in my life. I have had, the negativity in life. Some people you just got to weed out. Hey, Jill, there you are, sweetheart. I was wondering when you were going to pop on here.
Hi, Jill.
I look at my life and I try to be surrounded by positivity. I myself cannot be positive all the time. I can't do it. It sometimes you're going to have those blah moments where you're going to be ER. Okay, nothing seems to go right. I'm just going to sit here and mope. You're going to have those moments, okay? But having somebody in your life that is constantly negative, yes, that is so true. Everyone needs to communicate during this COVID-19. It is so isolating. And it is that isolation that can get you in trouble, okay? Isolation is good for a short time. Sometimes people want to be isolated. Sometimes people want to be alone. Sometimes people say, leave me alone. I need some time to myself. Sometimes you sing a little song, all by myself. Don't want to be all by myself anymore. I mean, sometimes you got to, it happens. It's all right. But here's the thing. When you are isolated constantly and you are surrounded by negativity, the negativity has to go.
It's okay, Jill.
It's fine, sweetheart. It's all right. We're glad you're here and glad you made it and glad you were able to come and join the show. We appreciate it. I look at life and I look at people, and I've said this in one of my speeches for, I believe, the Caregivers Gala last year. In life, there are two kinds of people. There are those who do and those who don't. Okay? And the ones who don't are not necessarily bad people. Okay? The bad people that I'm talking about is the ones that surround themselves with negativity and bring their negativity into you, and they try to bring you down with what they got. Sometimes you just got to cut free. And sometimes you need a visit from a friend. When I told y'all Miss Winnie came by the other day and we were standing 6 feet, well, we were sitting 6 feet apart because she was in her car with Mr. Wilson and Kelly, and I was out in the parking lot with my mask on 6 feet back. And just being able to talk to her, she'll ask me questions. Hey, how you doing? How you feeling? I noticed your show's getting a lot of views. You're doing really well. Positive reinforcement at a time like this makes someone feel so good. And you can do something for people. You want to help somebody out, cut their grass for them. You want to help somebody out, take their trash out for them. You want to help somebody out, pick up something that fell over. I mean, you have to find new ways to accomplish happiness. And accomplishing happiness sometimes is just waving at somebody that's sitting on the front porch. A lot of people now are trying to go outside and get fresh air because you don't want to be inside all the time. I understand. Not everybody wants to be inside all the time. You've got to find new ways to do things. You got family game night. Families now are eating dinner together because they're forced to. That used to be a thing. That used to be a thing with our family. Every week, every Sunday, my grandmother, when she was alive, would cook Sunday dinner. Jill said, I was feeling very isolated until I found this group, and I feel a lot better now. That's what I'm talking about. When you are isolated, when you are down, when you are in darkness, when you are pulled down to the ground, Sometimes it takes people. Sometimes it takes a group. Sometimes it takes an individual. Sometimes it takes somebody to pull you out. But you have got to make that first step and join that group. I'm an admin of Cerebral Palsy Sunrise. I've been working with Cerebral Palsy Sunrise for, 3 or 4 months now. And it is one of the best moves I've ever made because it is... Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. And several of the people on here are from this group. I feel like family with them because every week we're together. Every week we have the live chat. And
these are good people.
And looking at when Emily wanted to become part of it, she asked me. She said, "I don't have cerebral palsy, but I want to be part of Cerebral Palsy Sunrise." That is great. People with disabilities, when you can find other people that have disabilities, not either the same as you or even if their disabilities are different, it is better to find disability people or people with disabilities in the same group, because when you have the same group of people with the same disability, they get it. They understand what the disability is about. You can talk about it. There are tons of spina bifida groups out there for children, but there's not a lot for adults. The problem is everything that happens when you try to find a group for an adult, everything is kind of funneled through because people want to bring up the future, but when the future's brought up, the groups for adults stop. And you don't see a lot of groups for adults. I'm going to tell you right now, Miss Winnie and Miss Jamie are two of the most influential people in my life because they check on me nearly every day, and it's not the, "Are you doing your job, boy? I'm going to tell you what, you better get it done." No, it's not that. It's the, "Hey, how you doing? Well, how was your day? Did you cook today? Did you play your game today?" It makes me feel wanted. And you know what? To feel wanted is amazing. I honestly can say, going through life and learning about life, learning that I do reach people, and this show is accomplishing its goal. My last 7 shows now are over 1,000 views.
I'm glad you feel welcome, Jill.
I'm very grateful for everyone who has reached out and made me feel welcome. Thank you for welcoming me. And you know what? You're a very, very sweet person, Jill. You reach out to people as well. You have positive and inspirational messages for people that come through. So realize that your impact that you put out, your positive impact that you put out, goes for people and through people, and they carry that, and they say, "You know what? Jill always has something nice to say. Josh always has something nice to say. Karen always has something nice to say. Miss Wilson always has something nice to say." Now, don't back that woman in the corner, because I'm going to tell you right now, Miss Wilson will fight. And that's what I want to spend this last couple of minutes talking about. Sometimes you got to fight. Sometimes you got to go through life. Sometimes you got to go through life and you got to fight. This person right over here, come close. This person right over here is sometimes the reason why I fight. And Miss Karen just said it. You are all paving the way for a new community. That is family. It is kindness and friendship that give us light. And you know what? I will fight for my people. And it is amazing how quickly I have grown close to Jamie and Miss Karen and Michael and Lena and Miss Wilson and Kelly and Corey. There are, and Talia. There's so many people that I could mention. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
You're awesome too.
It is not. I don't know where I would be had not God allowed me to join these two wonderful organizations that I'm with. These radio shows that I do, I've always enjoyed them. I've always enjoyed them to the point that I have passion about what I do, and that's what makes life worth living. When you do things with passion, and when you do things with realness, and when you have 7 to 12 people watching you the entire time, okay, and you think, well, I'm only going to use 30 minutes, but I thought, you know what, if I stop now and somebody else gets on and I miss a chance to mentor or help somebody, I've got to do my job. And my job is to put forth the best show that I can. My job is to put forth the best message that I can, to say my CP does not define me, to show that I have accepted my CP for what it is, and that is okay. You know, we've talked about this. People are still afraid to be themselves because they have a disability. Please understand. Yes, we do. That's very true. Crip Camp 2, great movie. If you haven't seen Crip Camp, go watch it. It's on Netflix. Wonderful show to watch. But people have to be all right with who they are. Because when you're okay with who you are able to affect others in a positive manner. Let me say that again. People need to be okay with who they are, disability or not. Because when you are okay with who you are, you can affect others in a positive manner. Every Wednesday when I do this show, I look for something to where I can reach people on a positive level, to where I can grab a hold of them. And some people you have to give them everything you've got because they've been struggling a long time. And with CP, the struggle is real. With CP, the struggle is hard. With CP, there are some days where I just don't want to do it. But it's people like my wife. It's people like you know, Mama Aid, you know, and she just said this, DJ, I always tell Jamie Lynn, if only one person logs in, you have helped a person, and that is important. And that's why I do what I do. Because the reason I came up with My CP Does Not Define Me is that I want to show people with disabilities that they are okay and they can accomplish anything they put their mind to, but they may have to find another way to do it, but that's okay.
Thank you, Jill.
Oh, that's so awesome. Yeah, that's awesome, Jill. Thank you. I'm glad my wife joined, and I hope she'll join more.
I'll try to join more.
Yeah, she's been asking about it, but shyness, again, talking to people for some people is hard.
I don't speak well.
You do. You do speak well. See, that's the thing. You think you don't, but you give people a lot of inspiration when you open your mouth. And when you have something to talk about, it is very powerful. You speak very well, and don't tell yourself that you don't, because you do. Bring your little pretty little self over here and stop showing half your face. My wife, I've said it before, is my rock. You know, she is the person that has been there for me, you know, a lot of times when no one else has. So understand, to have that person in your life that you can rely on, that you can love, that you can go through life with, that you don't have to be alone with, it makes it a lot better. Let me throw out my social media. Guys, if you want to reach me, if you want to be a guest on the show, please contact me at carterdj85@gmail.com. You can also reach me on the Sports Minion Radio Show at yahoo.com. I have my 3 YouTube channels. Cooking with Carter is one. Let's see. Cooking with Carter Capable Cuisine is one. Chairmaster Games is another one. And yeah, Josh said yes, more Emily. Watch it there, brother. I don't want to have to come through the phone now. And also, My CP Does Not Define Me is my other YouTube is My CP Does Not Define Me. But that is cool. Thank you, Josh, for that. I know Emily appreciates it. She's still smiling over here. Bring your little face over here. You're only halfway. Stop laughing. All right. But look, guys, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who tuned in. Guys, if you have questions, if you want to hear about more topics, please email them to me. Please suggest them in the comments. CP Sunrise needs to interview you, your darling Emily. That might be a good idea if we can get her to do it. I'll talk to her and see if Jamie will do it. I know Miss Jamie will do it, but I don't know if we can get Emily to because she's so shy, but we'll try. But look, guys, thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate everybody coming to the show today. Remember, my CP does not define me or you for that matter. If you set your mind to it, you can accomplish anything. And remember, like I said, if you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. Do everything you can do with a positive attitude and always give 100% because you never know and you never know who you might impact. Remember, I love you guys. Thank you for tuning into the show today. We're live every Wednesday on letgoradio.net and on Facebook Live. Remember, if you want to be a guest on the show, please contact me. If you have a topic that you would like to see talked about, please let me know, because the only way that I can accomplish this show is with viewers like you that listen and tune in. Tell your friends, share. Please keep these views coming, over 2,000 on a lot of shows, and we want to keep them coming. Thank you guys for tuning in. I love you guys so much. We will see you next Wednesday on My CP Does Not Define Me for episode 14. And My CP does not define me or you for that matter. As I said, if you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. This is D to the J with the roll away, saying we will see you next week.
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody. Take care.